Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome back here to RAF Lossiemouth. This was a spur of the moment stream. I happened to see yellow helicopters doing HEMS stuff on TV. Suddenly I wanted to fly it. That's how it works, and I thought, to hell with it, I'll stream it as well. So here we are in X-Ray Zulu 588, which is a repaint by Demo Designs of an RAF 202 Squadron seeking helicopter that was actually based up here at RAF Lossiemouth. And here we have a picture of the real thing. This is the real thing, which is currently being looked after by Historic Helicopters. Thanks to Guy for that picture of this wonderful Sea King. And that is what we're doing. We're flying. It's a tribute repaint from RAF Lossiemouth. Maybe we might get some. We're going to do the random and anywhere bit. I should say that's the other part of this. So this is the High Performance Group H145, the action pack from High Performance Group, and then we're using the Davierosoft random and anywhere mod, which you can customize. If you've watched the stream before, you probably know this, or if you use it, you know it. But what we're going to do today is the random and anywhere bit. So sometimes I just want to do kind of 202 Squadron kind of classic search and rescue, in which case I can customize it to do that. And sometimes it's quite nice just to do kind of HEMS stuff. You know, air ambulance kind of critical care, taking the critical care from the hospital to the patient, that kind of thing. So today we're just going to see what comes our way, and I have no idea what is going to come our way. If you want to join flying, you won't be able to see the mission assets, but you'll be able to just come along for a mystery ride. So you can do that. We're on the Southeast Asia server, and we are at RAF Lossiemouth, which is EGQS. And I can hear a helicopter winding up in the background there. Anyway, right, okay, so let's get a few things sorted out. Get the right controls. There we go. Need to turn on my head tracking. I need to get rid of. There we go. You don't need to see me. I'm the most certainly the boring part. The interesting part is the flying. So we've got an empty helicopter at the moment. Let's just reset that. Hello to everyone in the chat. Robert, R Loco, Mark, T Player, Sir DLW, Fourth Frame. Great to have you along. Oh, look at that. I love the 500C. Now, you're probably wondering why Rystorm is floating in the air. He's either really good at hovering and he can hold a position, or he hasn't got the Nick B007 scenery that I'm using, so we've got a slightly different mesh. But yeah, this is Nick B007's scenery. It really is stunning scenery of Lossiemouth. Should also quickly say we're going to be using the Kekker's voice mod, which has a radio effect on it, and also the M. Gonzalez sound pack for the H145. And also Epic Falls Scottish helipads. Blimey, there's so many things going on. I need to make sure I remember all of them. By the way, please don't be shy in the chat to chat and say hello. And also, if you find that the sound is getting a little bit too high, either on my boring droney voice or the helicopter, then please do let me know. The sound mix is set up for flying a nice quiet King Air turboprop. So once this helicopter starts going, it might get a little bit noisy. So yeah, do let me know. Okay, anyway, so first thing I'm going to do is quickly check my physical controllers. Yep, they're all set up, so that's good. Quick check up here. Yep, that's all good. Nothing to worry about there. And we will get the mission wound up. So come back to here. We'll go to Maps and Missions. Random and anywhere. And let's get it going when we do this first bit before we start the helicopter. So at this point, if you like, we're sitting in the crew room eating all the tea and toast we can get our hands on, waiting for the phone to ring. There's our ground crew. I'm just going to wind that back a little bit so we spend a bit more time rescuing in action rather than just kind of A to B stuff. We've got 4 crew members. I'm going to set the dispatcher coverage area on user location. This basically means that we kind of move around a bit. I could set it just on lossy, so we only operate in the lossy area. I could select with custom location exactly where I want to go, but you know, for this, we're just gonna use the app pretty much as it comes, really, and just see what it throws at us. Okay, so we will go for a single player. There we go, and it's telling us now that we are not connected up to the operation center. So to do that, we stick our head up here. There we go, battery on. We'll get some lights on because we're about to start winding things up. Quick check down here. We're not going to be using the TDS GTN XI, but it's worth just having that sorted out. And that's looking all good. Okay, so now we can have the mission radio on. This is what connects us to the rescue center, to the control center, whatever you want to call it. Everything with this mod is time is simulated. It's not instant.
Hey, good morning all. Ready for the missions?
There's the crew. Well done, lads. Come on.
Good morning,
Get on
Frank.
board. Yeah, so it kind of simulates everything, really, including the time it takes for the radio to connect up. So push call to connect. We've done that.
Hey, Frank. Good morning.
And then on here, we will see very shortly. There we go. That's all connected up. So now we just wait. So no dispatch
Captain.
received.
Helicopter is ready to fly. Logbook filled and signed. Fuel tanks are almost full.
Thank you.
If you need refueling, please ask.
So this is just us
Thank
now.
you, Frank.
Waiting.
Flight check.
Lads, I'm trying to talk here. There we go. So patient has sustained scalding from hot water. So we've got a more of a HEMS mission first of all. When that at the moment we're not in a position to accept it. So when that turns to kind of a lighter colour, then we'll be able to, and also we'll get like an audio signal as well. While we are waiting for that, I will quickly... Okay, that's already closed. Let's do a quick check of the crew. Oh, while I'm there, need to set that TDS GTN XI thing to MSFS because we want to use the nav of the mission rather than from the GTN XI. That's all set. Crew is all set. And we've got fuel. We can, using this mod, you can actually refuel as well if you want to. So still waiting for that to come through. I tell you what we'll do actually, why don't we preempt it? Shall we start the engine? Yeah, I think he wants to. Okay, so let's go engine 1 and 2 first. So depending on which order you, with this mod, I should say, depending on which order you switch these in, is in which order you start. So we'll go 1,
Preparing for engine starting
2.
sequence. 1, 2.
Matey boy gets out. So we can accept that now.
We are securing the equipment. Stand by.
So lads in the back are doing their thing to put all the
Area
plasters
clear.
away
Ready to start engine 1.
and stow the Snickers bars. We will do a quick battery check. Yep, battery's good for a start. I'll leave the numbers on actually. And we'll go engine 1 to idle. M1 rising, TOT rising, and oil pressure rising.
GPU disconnected. Ready to go. Good day.
I'll catch up with the chat, by the way, once we are en route. Thank you, Frank. There's Frank taking his fire extinguisher for a walk.
Engine started successfully. Moving to
Okay.
other engine.
Good start on engine 1.
Engine clear.
Engine 2. M1 rising. TOT torque, and more pressure rising. Excellent. You can see down here now we've got startup test OK.
All engines started successfully.
Okay, we will now jump up here. We can have all this good stuff on.
Hold on. Performing leak checks.
LAVCS. That's all good. That's all good. We'll put the strobe on at this point. I am going to turn the lights on just because it's a little bit dark. I've cheated with the time a bit. We've got live weather, but I've turned the weather back a bit just because it was getting a bit dark. It gets darker earlier up here, this north of
Okay, all
Scotland.
good.
Okay, that's all good. Have a quick look down here. We've got no warnings on here now, so that's fantastic. I'm just going to get that set up. We can now turn on all our autopilot systems ready for when we want to use them. I'm going to give him... No.
Cabin check's finished. We're set to go.
There we go. So, where are we going? Okay, nice. We're going into the hills. I like going into the hills. That's all good. Over here we can see we've got a 22 years old male. Patient has sustained scalding from hot water, waiting for information about rescue vehicle's presence. Symptoms: patient has sustained scalding from hot water and it hurts. It hurts a lot, I bet. Right, let's have engines to flight. Keeping an eye on things here. Okay, that's looking good. Just need that to get to 101. We'll come back to here. Now you can see we've got a white line there and we've got no numbers in here. So two things I'm going to do. First, I'm going to double check that, okay, so this has reset itself. So we'll have that back to MSFS. And then I need to recycle, and I don't know why, but if you cycle the Garmin, that then fixes the problem. So we've now got a blue line there, we've got information here. That means that all our nav is connected up. We've got no warnings here. We are good on the autopilot, so we're good to lift. Okay, happy? Happy. Everyone's happy. Okay, so what have we got in the way of winds? 13 knots coming from our right. So I'm going to lift. I'm going to turn over kind of Frank's direction, and then we'll head over that way. Happy? Cool. Okay. So cyclic trim release on. Cyclic trim release essential whenever you're doing anything with the cyclic. Otherwise, you're just fighting the helicopter all the time. Okay, quick hover check. All good.
VTOS.
Moving over the side of the airfield. So we've got quite a few. We've got a nice Chinook up, an H145. So just keeping an eye on the speed. This helicopter in the sim is incredibly sensitive to overtorque, so you have to balance. You know, I'm trying to climb because we've got some hills up ahead. Trying to keep a good speed on because obviously we've got to get to a patient, but also making sure those red bars just to the left of the speed tape, that's kind of a power indicator. Making sure those red bars don't come down because that'll mean that we are heading into overtorque. And I ain't talking about the pilot. I must stop saying that. So keeping the climb in. Back over here. Not at the moment, sir DLW. I'm hand flying it for the time being. Heck, original, how you doing? Got an interesting little periodical stutter there. Yeah, I just want to intercept our course, and then I'm going to stick it onto autopilot. All good, thank you, mate. All good. Okay, there we go, and couple that to the nav. Now I need to be really careful with the autopilot here. This is the point where a slight gust of wind. So we've got, as you can see, we've got altitude hold, nav, and we've got IAS, all those three modes on. The helicopter will try and maintain, obviously, the indicated airspeed that we have there, but this is where it gets a little bit dodgy with the autopilot suddenly whacking on a load of power, and before you know it, you are over talking. And I'm not talking about myself. Got to stop saying that. Heck, original. We got someone who scolded themselves, so we're on to see them. Right, where did I see? Where was it? Petter. What buttons do you have activating regarding the autopilot buttons on the bottom? I feel like the controls are a bit odd when they're turned on. Every single time I turn, the main screen says override, and the turn. Okay, so I've got all of those systems on there. Petter, make sure if you're doing anything with the cyclic, this might be the problem you're having. You need to map a cyclic trim release onto your controller, and anytime you are you're moving the cyclic, you hold that on, and then you're not fighting the cyclic trim, you're not fighting the helicopter for control, and you'll find it's much smoother. If you're already doing that but you're still having issues, I'm not sure. Sounds like there's obviously something else. Could be a control binding duplication or something like that. Right, let's pop outside. So we got quite a few: Heliflyer, Firestorm, DPE and Delta Echo. What have we got? We've got a Chinook, an H125 and a couple of H500Cs. Loving the H500C. It is a lovely, lovely helicopter. And Ado, look at that. Ado is in the sky as well in the OH6A. What a great mix. It's always good to be going to a shout with backup. So yeah, as I said at the beginning, this is it's live weather. I just cheated on the time a bit because it was getting dark. The only other thing that I've got on, which is having an effect on the visuals, is Rex Atmos. So I'm using that with the Andrew Bennett presets, so we get probably a bit more of a haze than you do with the standard. Anyway, how the hell is everybody? I've done a stream yesterday and a stream before in the King Air. I had no intention of streaming today, but I was literally watching a what was it, Yorkshire Air Ambulance or something, and suddenly got the urge, which is what always happens. There's a nasty stutter there. It's a funny thing, flight simming, isn't it? How you can fly in it one day and it's really smooth, and you fly in it the next day and it's all acting slightly differently. But sometimes that's to do with, I mean, it could just be server side, it could be because I've got multiplayer on. It's amazing how many different things can have an effect. It's Fintorn Bay over there. Well, good, thank you, Keith. Hope the same with you, mate. So, where are we? There we go. So we've taken off from Lossie, and we're heading in this direction towards the Cairngorm National Park. We can actually, if I come back to, there we go. So we're kind of north of Aviemore by the looks of it. There we go. Looks like we might have some reasonable options there, although there's a lot of forest. Might have some reasonable options there for a landing spot. Right, quick check. I'm going to put a little bit more of a climb in. Just using the hat switch on my collective, just to change the altitude set in the autopilot. Blimey, Keith, I'm glad you got that kicked. Yeah, it's certainly been doing the rounds there, hasn't it? So we're 9 minutes out. Let's just conscious of the altitude. We've got some tours information on the TDS GTNXI, but then also we've got H tours on our MFD here, so that's useful to just keep an eye on. Something I should have done, as I am on live weather, thinking about it. What is it? 1038. Should have done this on the ground. See, the helicopter is now sinking because I'm adjusting the barometer, so I'm just going to, or rather adjusting the barometric settings, so I'm just going to change that, because it would be embarrassing to suddenly go flying into the hillside just because I decided to finally get round to setting that. Check down here. Yeah, we're alright. Just nudging the hat switch on the collective just to keep a bit of a climb in. Oh, Keith, I am sorry to hear that. Yeah, the last thing you want when you've got COPD and asthma is anything like the flu. So I'm glad you sorted it. Magnus, okay, a couple of good points there. I think, and I only think, the reason why you can't get it on Xbox is because this helicopter or this system uses an app, the Hype Operations Center, to do certain tasks, and that's not something you'd be able to use on the Xbox. So I suspect that's one reason why Hyper brought the H225 to MSFS 2024, but that's still kind of a work in progress. So, but I think that's the reason why. I think at the moment it's the whole system behind the helicopter and the missions is reliant on a PC program, really, to do certain things. So that's probably half the reason. How does it compare to the Mission Hub? Okay, caveat is that I've not used it since it first launched. I did a mission with it. From what I can see, the difference is kind of night and day. This Random and Anywhere mod is so complicated. There's so many things going on. There's so much customization. Apart from the fact that you don't necessarily know what you're going to do, it is random. It is anywhere. But it's written by a real-world instructor on Airbus helicopters. So he's got a real attention for detail, and so much stuff is simulated, down to the fact that somewhere in this virtual world there will be ambulances and police cars and fire engines on their way to the scene. There will be crews that will assess the patient and feedback information. There is just so much going on. It's quite incredible. How on earth this isn't payware, I do not know, but it's a labour of love for Andrew from Davierosoft, and I'm just so glad he does it. It makes such a difference. Richard Barton, welcome. Oh, you used to do the real thing. Well, yeah, don't look too closely at what I'm doing then, because you'll probably find that it's not quite to the level that you were flying at. So we're flying out of RAF Lossiemouth, just heading down towards the Cairngorms National Park. There you go. You can just see where we are, and where it says destination G-spot, no sniggering at the back, that is just north of Aviemore. Kind of north of Aviemore is where we're going. But the scenery is beautiful. I love flying out of here. Back in the 80s, I lived at Lossiemouth for a few years. Absolutely fell in love with the area. Try and get back here at least once a year for some camping in the hills. And just obsessed with flying here in helicopters all the time. There's Murdoch in the MH60. Looking good, Murdoch.
We will be first on scene.
Okay, so 3 minutes out, so I need to start thinking about doing the pilot thing. When I first started doing this, I used to hand fly all the time, and real-world helicopters, real-world helicopter pilots, especially on this type, used to say to me, "Why aren't you using the autopilot?" And I just wanted to get to grips with it before I started using the autopilot. Whereas now, I try and use the autopilot to a kind of a realistic level as much as I can, but sometimes it's nice to hand fly it as well. Sir DLW, I see search and rescue to fate. Have you tried other options? Yeah, I have done a couple of firefighting videos, but I must admit it didn't grab me in the same way as doing the HEMS stuff. I think especially with this mod, the thing I love about this mod is that I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. I have no idea where it's going to be going, and it will just throw mission after mission at you, and you've no idea how your day is going to go, and I kind of love that aspect of it.
I set a possible hospital destination for our patient. Infos are available on tablet. We can confirm or change later.
Okay, I have a feeling that's going to be Raigmore. I hope so anyway. Okay, so I'm going to take the autopilot off. Minute out.
Two nautical miles from accident area.
So first things first is to find somewhere to land. As we saw from the map earlier, it looks quite there seems to be some roads there, but there's also a heck of a lot of trees. And as it's someone who's badly scolded, I'm kind of guessing we don't want to be parked a million miles away. That's for sure.
Rear crew, we are approaching the landing site.
Turn the labels off for the time being. Get back on the stick. Okay, so that is our target area down there. Okay, so there's a it's gonna okay, we've got a tennis court. We have a tennis court. Where's the wind? Okay. Would be nice if it wasn't doing that damn stuttering. That's frustrating, that. Makes life a little bit harder. Trying to fly the helicopter if it keeps doing that strange jerking around. So where did... There it is. So it's going to be a little bit tight. Those trees are quite tall. I'm actually going to go there. I'm going to play it safe rather than try and be clever. If those trees weren't quite so tall, it would be tempting to go on the tennis court, but let's have the... Don't often use the camera. I actually find it quite disorientating, but I'm just going to switch it on for this.
Reasonably close. We are too far.
Okay. So we're going to have to play the play that game. If it's going to... That's still too far away. I think that's probably going to be too far. have a quick look on the... Yeah, okay. If I back it up the road a bit, I just need to get inside that green circle, really. So just walk it back a bit.
Reasonably close.
That stuttering is a pain in the neck. I wonder if it's because multiplayer's on. Okay, so let's have engines to idle. Lock off the head tracking a moment.
Rear crew, prepare for ground operations.
So we're first on the scene, as you can see, because there's no other vehicles there, no other rescue vehicles, we don't know much about what's going on apart from the original shout, which was they've sustained scalding from hot water.
Helicopter in position. Rear crew, you are clear to start operations.
Follow the crew. So this is my doctor and the advanced paramedic. Wonder, can't see anything at the moment. I think what I will do is, we don't know how long this is going to take. They've got a fair old walk. Sometimes I wait and see, wait for the doctor, because the doctor will tell me how long he thinks he's going to be working on the patient. But I think in this case we will shut everything down. And I will catch up with the chat in a second. So a little cheat to keep my mission radio set up is if I switch that to ground power, which is not realistic, but it's just a way of keeping this connected up there, because I don't want to lose that when I then throw the battery switch. There we go. So helicopter closed down, but mission radio, and this is all set up, and we can open the door. And now we just wait for the crew to come back. They've gone off there into well, actually we can go and quickly find them. What's that? I can see people up here. Is there anyone around? Perhaps they've gone into the building. Sometimes you have to headbutt the building. Now I can't see them. Sometimes they get lost in the terrain, but they'll be around here somewhere, because I can see these guys there. If I keep that on them, we might see them shortly. So I'll just lock that off. Ah, there they are. There they are. So here's the patient. Not quite sure what he's doing. They're obviously doing some kind of medical procedure on the patient that requires him to stand with his arms outstretched. But so what is happening now is that it's simulating my ground crew, or rather the medical crew, the doctor, the advanced paramedic working on the patient, stabilising the patient, and getting them into a position where we can fly them to the hospital, or fly them to an ambulance if needs be. Or sometimes an ambulance will turn up and they'll say, right, we'll put the patient in the ambulance, our doctor's going to go with the ambulance, and we've just got to get to the hospital to pick him up. Right, I need to quickly catch up with the chat because there's a lot going on. Kfir, I totally agree. I honestly, GA in helicopter and warbirds is where it's at for me. Not at all interested in flying tube liners really, but I think the great thing about flight simming is that we get to do so many different things. If you want to fly tube liners all the time, then you can. If you want to do this sort of thing all the time, you can. It's just it's an amazing hobby, really. Oliver, thinking of buying the Verpal Rotor TCS base and Hawk 60 grip, recommend? Yes, yes, yes. I bought both of those earlier this year and I've never looked back. I held off because they certainly ain't cheap, but they add so much, apart from the fact that it adds to the immersion because you're actually having to use a cyclic rather than I used to use a lever on my Bravo throttle. Just gonna point it that away. Oh, okay. You can see our guy coming back now. He'll be coming back to get the stretcher. Yeah, it just adds so much to the immersion, but also it makes it a lot easier to control the helicopter because it's a bit more intuitive. And also with the Hawk 60, you've got all sorts of extra controls. So you've got the hat switch, so you can use the collective beat trim. And I use, for example, Searchlight on there as well. So yeah, it's a really nice piece of kit. For cyclic, Oliver, I'm using a Verpal Warbird base with springs. One day I'm going to get a proper helicopter unsprung base, but at the moment that's what I'm using. And then I've got an old Warthog grip that I use because it's a nice metal chunky grip with lots of buttons and hats on it. Really good. The Bishop of Barton, are the US accents hardwired into MSFS? They are. It's the current voice pack that's with the mod. There's also a German voice pack. All it needs is for someone to actually do all the voices, and then you can add them in. So it just needs someone to make it, and then you can have any voice, any language you wanted, really. Oliver, do you use any physical cyclic control? No, I've got as I was just saying before, I've got a stick. I've got a stick to a sprung base, which is what I use for warbirds and GA. But one day I'll have something that hasn't got the springs in it. Just catching up. Yes, Bishop, you're absolutely right. You've nailed it. Very clever simulation, lots of waiting around. Exactly, and it changes. It's not like a set time. In fact, if I go back down, because you've done this for real, you might appreciate this. So this is our kind of patient diagnostic window. As our crew work on the patient, this will change. So we'll get more information. He's got his emergency code 2, so he's immediate risk of serious injury. There we go. So we're going to Raigmore. Excellent. And the life score changes, and once it changes now on the ground while they're working on him. Once we get in the air, the patient can their condition can deteriorate. It can get better. It all depends on. We've just got an oxygen saturation level indicated there. All sorts of things happening. The doctor is telling his estimated ground operation time 3 minutes, and also the doctor is then saying patient will be transported by us. So my job is to get us here, and then it's the doctor's job to tell me, what the next steps are, and then it's my job to get us back to where we need to go. So that's the doc saying 3 minutes. Originally, I can see through the trees a lone figure in his RAF flying suit. Hopefully they did take the they took the stretcher. Here we go. Yeah, they're coming back. so you can see the guy pushing the stretcher. You could have helped him, mate. Teamwork, eh? So he's just coming back. There's the Chinook. That is a lovely sight. Lovely sight. There we go, just name checking the peeps there. Ado, come on fella. Let's get that PT going. Isn't the H500 a beautiful helicopter? If you're interested in learning to fly helicopters, by the way, and you haven't started yet, I can absolutely recommend that. Taugshanger H500C or OH6A, there's two in the pack. It's a really good seat to the pants, kind of old school helicopter. You learn all the physics, all the good stuff, and it's an absolute pleasure to fly, it really is.
Patient on board. Take care.
Okay, so that's him on board. We can start doing a few things, get some lights on. Come on, sunshine, get in. Right, let's close.
Cabin secured. Ready to fly.
Right, sunshine, are you ready? So we went 1-2 last time. This time we're going to go 2-1. So 2-1, and get that running. Should have done that originally, really. Jumping ahead now. Jumping ahead in the excitement, which is never a good thing. So we're just doing the power up test. Power up test, okay. Jumping ahead is quite often not a good thing because it can confuse the...
Preparing for engine starting sequence. 2-1.
Okay. Because I moved the switches. Because I moved the prime switches before the battery was on, it confused it. So really we should have done 1-2 because we did 2-1 before, but we'll go this way. Or did we do 1-2? We might have done 1-2, so we're doing 2-1 now. Okay, so let's get the VMS back up and quick check of battery. Battery's good, so M1 rising, TOT rising. Lovely, lovely fuel, oil pressure rising.
Engine started successfully. Moving to other engine.
Oh, good.
Engine clear.
Okay, TOT, N1 rising, torque rising, and oil pressure rising.
All engines started successfully.
Great stuff. Okay, he's going to do his leak checks now. We're going to get everything else up and running. So, transfer pumps on, prime pumps off.
Hold on, performing leak checks.
Yeah, I just told him, don't worry. DC receipt on, LAVCS, pito's on. I've got the lights on, and we've got some heat. Keep him nice and toasty. Quick check down here. No warnings that we need to worry about at the moment, just advisories because we are in idle and we have got a door open. So we'll just close that. You can see again, as at the beginning, because we started off with so I'm just distracted by the fact that where's the co-pilot gone? We might have to have a look at that. Because we started off from scratch, I've now got to go in here There he is.
Okay, all good.
Were you having a Jimmy Riddle behind the tree, mate? That's all right. Set that to MSFS because we're using the nav from our mission. Get that back up. You can still see we've got white and no data here, so like I did before, just cycle Garmin and we should be alright. We've got distance there. That will turn blue any second, but in the meantime let's just bring a few things on stream. That's all good. Engines to flight. Got a blue line over here now, so that's working. Just watching our power here. Need that to get to what I want. Right, obstacles. Trees, loads of them. Trees on either side of me. Wind on the nose, which is quite nice. So I'm going to lift, do a quick hover check, and then we will get out of the trees. That'll be a good start. So just killing the labels for a moment. Right, no warnings. That's all set. Engines are looking good. Happy with that. Okay, let's lift. So back with the cyclic release on, cyclic trim release on, I should say, and lift. Okay, hover check's fine. Going to continue the lift. We have an error come up on the tablet, but I'm going to continue because sometimes those come up. It says mission cannot continue, but sometimes it still works, so I'm just going to ignore it. Just come over the top of the 125. Keeping in a climb, coming up to VY.
VY.
So guys, I will catch up with the chat in a second once we are on the way. Now sometimes a data query range exceeded thing could just be, it's an incredibly complicated mod that has got so many different things going on, and sometimes just one tiny thing can cause a message to come up, and I have found that it's sometimes it's just a good idea to crack on and something else will trigger everything to come back into a wonderful state of normality. And if it doesn't, we'll just fly to Raigmore anyway and we'll pretend. I don't need no tea and medals. So just keep on our course, intercept that blue line. Up in the lovely mountains, what more could you ask for? Just watching the power there, keeping in the climb. So it looks like we're going to be going IMC shortly, which this helicopter is more than happy with. It's not great with icing. Hype did cheat and give us an ability to have a bit of anti-icing, but generally the real thing doesn't have it. Okay. So let's now autopilot and couple. There we go. Quick check of everything. I'm just going to gently bring the speed up a little bit. It's these kind of conditions where, you know, around this cloud, if there's any kind of turbulence, we could start to see issues with the overtorque that you sometimes get with the autopilot. You can see a little bit of ice forming. There we go. We'll do that. That's our little cheat for icing. Okay, how is our patient doing? So, emergency code 2, immediate risk of serious injury, and the patient conditions are 38. And as I said before, that can and will change. They might get a little bit better as our doctor carries on working on them, or it could get worse. It's just something we have to be aware of. And as always, I have a huge amount of respect for people that do this for real, both the crew in the back and the pilot at the front, to safely operate an aircraft and do all the things that you're meant to do while you have got someone in the back in a very poor state, potentially deteriorating, is quite something, really is. Okay, I'm just going to lock that off and have a look at the chats because there's a lot going on. Delta Tango, I love helos on flights, but I'm struggling to fly them. Have you tutorials? I haven't done any tutorials, to be honest. I always kind of think to do a tutorial you've got to be 100% know everything inside out, and I still consider myself to be learning, but I mean, the only advice I can give you is a little bit like, I remember watching a helisimmer.com stream a few years ago, and the advice he gave was almost like a fixed wing. Just fly circuits, hover taxi, find an airport, turn off multiplayer and all that sort of thing, and just hover taxi around it and fly circuits around it, and just get used to the handling, get used to the physics of it, and eventually you'll get it. I know it sounds easy, but it's true. Eventually the helicopter becomes an extension of the body, as it were, and instinctively you know what to do. Sometimes I often find, for example, if I haven't flown the Huey or the 500 for a while, I have to dial back into them because they don't have the stability systems that the H145 has. The H145 is still a challenge to fly, but when you get into the Huey or the 500, you are flying by the seat of your pants, so you have to kind of dial back into that. But yeah, helicopter flying is just amazing. I never used to do it until Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 because I didn't flying helicopters in P3D. I just didn't enjoy it. The scenery wasn't particularly brilliant, and the helicopters weren't particularly brilliant. But in this sim, the quality of the helicopters and the quality of the scenery, you know, being able to fly around scenery that's as detailed as this is just insane. It's so damn realistic. It really is. Trevor, apologies, I know you've answered before, but are you still using Verbal Collective? Yes, I am. And we were just talking about it just before. I'm using the Collective, was it the TCS Rotor Plus or the TCS Plus Rotor or whatever it is, and the Hawk 60 grip, and both are absolutely excellent, and they are not cheap, but all I can say is it took me a long time to pluck up the courage, and I'm glad I did, because it really is a wonderful piece of kit for flying helicopters. Fibro, how you doing? Good to see you. Original, also nice practice. Land on number on runway, take off, land on the number on the other side of the runway. Yeah, exactly. It's just that kind of thing, and just practice. I know it's one of those things that is always said, but honestly, you just do the practice, get the handling in, get it to a point where you feel the helicopter and you know what it's going to do before it does, rather than the other way around. You know, it's like getting a bit carried away here, but like taming a wild horse. And once you get everything sorted out, it's the rewards. To be able to fly around a landscape like this and just land anywhere you want to is just fantastic. Bishop, that's interesting. It's nice. I know some other real-world H145 pilots that have said the same. It's always good to know when you're when you're a sweaty flight simmer, it's always nice to know that what you're flying is kind of close to the real thing. Binky, how you doing? Let's have a quick look outside. Look at that lighting. Very nice. Sadly, the LOD on the Chinook is still a bit strange in that you see it miles away, just as the cabin interior. Right, so I'm just going to put us into a bit of a descent now because we're coming up in Inverness. You can see Inverness on the nose. You can see the bridge. Just about see the football ground. But we're only 3 minutes out. I'll be very interested to see. We should relatively soon get a call from the crew, just talking about readiness to land and all that kind of stuff. So if we hear that, then it's a good sign that the mission is carrying on and we can ignore that little warning that's appeared at the top. Oh, that's good, Fibro, that's good to know. Okay, so I am going to, there we go, put the head tracking back on, just centre that, get my feet on the pedals and everything, and I'm going to take off the autopilot. It bucked a little bit there because I'd knocked the collective lever. I'd knocked my physical collective lever, which meant that all of a sudden when I took the autopilot off, it reared its head.
Nautical miles from the hospital.
So wind is coming from over there, so I'm just going to bring us around this way slightly. Just see the pad. So obstacles here, we've got a couple of big masts in Inverness, so I just need to be careful of those. But I think with the wind direction, I'm probably going to come in just to the left of some of those tall buildings. Wow, getting some really nasty stuttering going on there. Unusual. It's multiplayer. That's the hospital. We're just going to come round.
Destination in sight. Medical crew is waiting on landing spot.
Have a quick recce, and then what I'm going to do is there's one of our masts. So yeah, looking fine. So I can come in over the car park. What I'll do is I'll just loop us around this mast. Just going to kill the tablet. Stuttering is a real pain. It must be multiplayer. Nothing I can think of right now. Wow, I am not seeing any ground crew at the hospital yet, so that might be an indication that things have gone a little bit pear-shaped, but we'll see. Maybe it's just the LOD, maybe they'll pop in as we get a bit closer. Okay, I can now see someone on the ground, so that's a good sign. Ah, that's a horrible stutter. Last thing you want when you're on approach.
Operations.
Okay. Engines to idle. Jump outside. And then we'll just lock that off. There we go. Sir DLW, how have you set your multiplayer fidelity? I've got it set to the highest setting. The only reason being because if you have it on low, it seems to mess about with how many other helicopters you see and paints and that sort of thing. So, you know, it tends to vary. Rob, which GPUs you use? I use the, I've got an RTX 5900. Flow 42 nameplates are a potential issue, as is wake turbulence. Ah, that's okay, that's interesting. So wake turbulence I've got turned off, and I've got the nameplates turned off at the moment as well. So I'm not entirely sure what that could be. So you can see we're offloading the patient now. I think for the people that are flying along, I think what I'm going to do is try a server switch. So just to see if that resets it or does anything. We'll do a server switch to Western Europe, I think.
Patient has been deported to the hospital and is safe.
So even though we got that mission cannot continue, we everything seems to be running okay. So what I'm waiting for is the next step, which is where our doctor goes off with the ground crew, with the hospital crew, to do the paperwork. And we'll skip that, and then we'll fly back to Lossie.
Cabin secured, ready to fly.
Okay. So our lad hasn't done. Just check it yet. We need to do it manually. Our lad isn't going to go and do some paperwork, so obviously that's not required. So we'll pop back in here. I'm just going to select the ramp. We'll land, yeah, we'll go here. Why not? Come on, click spot. Do your thing. There we go. The other thing I'm going to do is dispatch control page. I'll say we are unavailable for dispatch. There we go. And then that stops them from calling us up and getting in the way and bothering us. Right, okay, so I will do a quick server switch now. And online. And where is it? West Europe. See if that makes any difference at all. Okay, engine's back to flight. Just checking everyone's on board. We have got return to base set there, so that's all good. We've got a blue line and information there. Engine's looking good. Actually, something I will do, because we can, now that we're doing this, is I'm going to pop Lossie in here. Sometimes it's quite useful actually for this as well. With the TDS GTN-XI you can program in a search and rescue pattern, so if you're doing search and rescue over a relatively flatter area, then you can use that, which is quite good. Okay, engine's good to go, crew's on board. Obstacles, buildings up ahead, so we'll just lift, quick hover check, and then I'm going to just come to the right of those slightly. Okay, everything's good. You can see that stutter is still there. Sometimes it can be something stupid like a repaint. Okay, conscious of the mast there.
VTOS.
Yeah, that's a real pain in the backside, that stutter.
VY.
Just seeing Venice Airport up ahead. Yeah, same Angels. I deleted mine before starting the stream for the exact same reason. I'm going to try something in a second. Okay, so the guys that are flying with me, I'm going to turn multiplayer off for a second and see if that cures it, and I'll turn it back on again either way. So if you just keep heading towards Lossie. Okay, settings, online, Multiplayer off. Still getting a bit of stuttering, I think. Definitely still getting the stuttering. So it's something else. Could just be something server side, I suppose. There's obviously something that it doesn't like today. Okay, so let's get it onto autopilot and then couple. There we go. So that's all sorted out. Right, let's lock that off. I'm going to quickly turn multiplayer back on for the guys that are flying along. There we go. Heliflyer, model matching, server switching. Yeah, I own the HPG 145, showing up as a Bell 222. There you go. There you go. I must admit, since the last update and since turning up the multiplayer fidelity setting, my model matching is a lot better. We were talking about this on the group flight the other night. It does seem to be better so long as you've got the right settings on. The Bishop of Barton, do you ever interact with ATC? Is that part of the pack? ATC isn't part of the pack, but you can use something like so I use Beyond ATC at the moment that doesn't have a capability for this sort of thing, but Say Intentions does, so you could, if you wanted to, load in Say Intentions and do ATC as well. That's an area I use ATC for IFR fixed wing, but I've not used it for helicopters doing this kind of stuff. So that's something I would definitely have to learn for sure. They are very sticky things. I'm just going to try an experiment. Hopefully this won't crash the stream. And then just lock that off. Interesting. There we go. See, I'm just checking, having a look over at my system now just to see what's doing what. Just to see if there's anything obvious when the stutters come in. But nothing at the moment. Just going to increase the speed slightly. So where are we? Show you what's happening. Let's get rid of that. So we took off from Lossie, we flew down here to Carbridge, or just to the northeast of Carbridge, over to Regmore Hospital, landed, and now we are heading back to Lossie over here. And for anyone that missed it at the beginning, this is a repaint of a real-world Sea King X-Ray Zulu 588, which is operated by historic helicopters. And that's it. That's the real thing. That's the real helicopter. It spent some time here up at Lossie, and now historic helicopters are looking after it. So the first big airbase we're going to see up there is Kinloss. That's Nairn down there. Crew looking very happy. End of the shift and all that. I guess it's the thing with flight simming, isn't it? When you think about it, you can have so many add-ons and things going on. The behaviour does seem to change from time to time. You can have a day like today where there's some weird stutter coming from something, whereas tomorrow I could fire it up on the same settings and not have a problem at all. Hulk, thank you for subscribing. Yeah, it's pretty smooth now. Isn't that lovely? It's so nice now that the rotors on the H145 multiplayer actually turn. There was a time where they didn't turn. So it's really nice to be able to look out and see one now and actually see the rotors moving. So we're 10 minutes out from Lossie. Just coming into a little bit of cloud, but nothing really to worry about. Scenery is so realistic in this thing, it's crazy. Sometimes it's quite nice just to fly along and see what's going on. Setting my head tracking a little bit. An in-fly Robin, yes. I've got it. Well, I've got the MH60, but I don't really fly it at the moment. I flew it when it first came out, but I tend to do most of my helicopter flying in this, or the Taughanger Huey, or the H500C, or OH6A, depending on which variant I feel like flying. I've not done much in the MH60. I tend to find this Random and Anywhere mod just offers so much more at the moment. and love this helicopter. It goes against everything that I like. I don't like glass cockpit. I tend not to fly modern with fixed wing. I love old warbirds and that sort of thing. But in this helicopter, flying these kind of missions, it's absolutely spot on. Okay, so that's Kinloss. When I was up this way back in the 80s, Kinloss was a Nimrod base. These days it's Army. But I'm using the Nick B 007 scenery for that as well, so we should see some things. I think we should see some Typhoons parked on the ground. It's a nice rescue H145. Oh, that's lovely. Look at that. Wow. Get my head at the right angle. It is always great fun flying with other helicopters. Was interesting. That big spike just before, it was looked like it was downloading something, but got a ridiculously fast internet connection here after having a ridiculously fast slow one, so I know it's not that. So just coming overhead Kinloss now. Poseidon in there. Okay, we can see Lossie on the nose there. You can see the light reflecting off the building anyway. So, quick check, wind is coming from here. Let me just lock this off. There we go. Let's have a quick check of the weather at Lossie. Okay, wind is 240, 10 knots. So we'll come in on 23. And then just hop a taxi into our home. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Fly to the Valkyries whenever I see, especially the 500 or the Huey. Yeah, it certainly gets cold at Lossie. So, just adjust the Q&H a tad. There we go. Right, okay, let's get our head into pilot mode. So, autopilot off. Smooth the transition to manual control there, because my physical controllers were really where they should be. Lossie over there. That big building that the light is reflecting off is one of the Poseidon hangars. Huge thing. Yeah, it's funny, Ac Original, you making the point about VATSIM. It's something I've never used really, because most of the places that I want to fly in and out of haven't necessarily got a VATSIM control going on, so weirdly I find it better to use AI ATC and know that everywhere I go I'm going to have someone, a controller, rather than hope that there's some human who's ready to provide a service. It just suddenly occurred to me I've got a new build of I wonder, a new build of Rex Atmos. If that could be doing something funny with it. So there we go. There's our big hangar.
2 nautical miles from our base.
Up, just going to keep an eye on the engines. There's the Navy just out to sea. Got an aircraft carrier out there. That's something you can add in from the lossy scenery. It's kind of quite good actually, again for flying training, flying out, landing on the carrier, coming back again, just a simple little thing. Simple little flight. There's Cove Sea Lighthouse. Now, something I'm going to do, I'm just going to experiment again. So bear with me. I'm going to kill. There we go. So I've just killed Atmos. I want to see what a difference that makes. I mean, straight away you can see the visibility is a lot better. It's still live weather, but I've got rid of the Rex Atmos. Interesting to know actually in the chat, what do you think looked better? Did it look better when we had the Rex Atmos in before, or do you think it looks better now that we've just got live weather with kind of standard MSFS visuals? Interesting to know what you think. Town of Lossie there. It's a lovely place. The Rustman, thank you for subscribing. Still getting the stuttering, so it wasn't the Rex Atmos. Taxi down the runway. Oh, that's interesting. So you guys think it looks better now without the Rex Atmos in? That's interesting. I looked over at the chat then and kind of lost my flow. Another great thing about flying helicopters, by the way, not wanting to get too deep or anything, is that it is incredible for it's almost like meditation, because you really do have to focus on what you're doing, and for that moment it's almost like mindfulness, I suppose, if I understand that correctly. But you are just so focused on what you're doing with the helicopter and what the helicopter's doing. It's I find it incredibly relaxing. It's kind of busy work but relaxing at the same time. And what I'm doing now is a really kind of classic training thing. This kind of low speed handling is a great way to feel out a helicopter, and certainly a lot harder in something like the 500 or the Huey. You still have to work at it in the 145, but it's got some nice modern stability bits and bobs in it, which certainly help. So we're going to do a left turn here. We do not want to crash into the fire section. Kind of over-egging the hover taxiing a little bit, but it's good practice for me. Realistically, we would have flown straight in here and landed, I think. So there's our ground crew. Frank has gone home by the looks of it. I don't think that's Frank. Oh. Okay, so I need to be a bit careful here. I've now got two 500s in front, so I'm just going to move over here. We need to land where she is. So we'll just slide over. Oh, there's the line. Come back to the line. There we go.
Mission accomplished. Well done.
Yeah, they're definitely very complex. Okay, right, engine is winded down nicely. He's doing his PT. Well done, lad. Well done, lad. Keep it up. Come on, come on. Okay, all good. All good. Okay, so we can now take the transfer pumps off, close down the engines, leave those lights on, turn this off while we're at it. Oh, press the middle mouse button. We'll have the LAVCS to packs, DC receipts off, avionics off. Veto heat off.
Landed. Crew to board authorized.
That's still good. That's now closed down.
Hey, my perfect crew. Hi, guys.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
It's where the crew start chatting up the ground crew. Have the lights off. Battery off. Open my door, and then that's kind of triggering a few other things. So now my pilot figure, which is him, goes up to the ground crew and admits if we've overtalked it.
How was the last mission? Was everything good with the helicopter?
Hi Sarah, how are you? Helicopter is good. Fuel need to be refueled.
Don't worry, the helicopter is now in my precious hands. It will be ready to fly for the next mission.
Thank you.
There you go. So that's the bit. If you've broken the helicopter, that's the bit where it will say to you, you know, you've overtalked it, you've done it some damage and that sort of thing. But luckily we didn't do that, so all is good there. And I can turn off. Oh no, I want to. Let's have a quick look in there. Submit report. And then we are done. All is good. Anyway, look, thanks ever so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed that. You can see the crew walking off there for tea and medals. Good lads, good lads. Interesting that we have that weird stutter thing. That's something for me to have a look at and try and figure out what might be doing it. But nonetheless, it's flight sim, isn't it? Things do tend to happen. You never quite know what it's going to do. But who knows? Echo, random one. This may be me being dumb. I can't seem to find any skins compatible with MSFS24. Is there a conversion method? In short, find one that you like and have it a go. You may need to drop the layout file in the repaint onto the that layout generator thing that you have to use at the moment to, what am I looking for? Verify your H145. But if you do that, then it should work for you. The repaint I'm using is a 2020 repaint, and it works absolutely fine. We've got some good PT going on up here. This is quite impressive. You see, the Air Force never rests. Always working hard. Yeah, it is just one of those things. You have to give it a try and see what happens. Flew in a Wessex out Lossie many moons ago. Fantastic. I didn't fly in the Sea King. I sat in the Sea King up here, but I didn't fly in it. So that must have been lovely flying in the Wessex out of here. Anyway, look, it's been great having you along. Thanks for joining. I don't. This channel isn't monetized, so I don't do it for the bucks. I do it for the fun of it. And it's always nice having people coming into the chat and having a talk as we're going along. So I do appreciate your company. And if you're on Discord, you may have seen Old Streamlabs has been putting the link out for the Discord. We do have a Discord. There's a really good helicopter community on there, as well as Warbirds and GA, and some of us are into all three. So a great bunch of people, and the Discord is only as good as the people that are in it, and they're all cracking. So yeah, if you're into Discord, if you're watching the recording of this, by the way, the Discord link is down below in the video description, so you can still get in that way. But it's been wonderful having you along. I wish you, because I keep saying this, but who knows, but this will probably be my last stream of the year. So if I'm not back on again, Happy New Year to you, and all the best for 2026. I hope it treats you well. Anyway, take care of yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you on the channel again soon. Take care now. Bye-bye. And Ado, keep up that PT, lad. You're doing ever so well.